Okay, so I'm live. So today what I want to talk about is what is gang stalking hatardation. Basically, it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a disorder that gang stalkers have, and it comes from envy, or as you can say, jealousy. So I have written down more. So they would basically, these people, excuse my hands, like I just got out the shower and everything. They would kill you. Hateration, gang stalker, hateration are a group, come from a group of people that would kill you if they could, but instead they load their clips with ammo. They try to trigger you words and names and situations and scenarios to try to turn you into sand because they want you to look back at the painful past or any type of trauma that you've been through, and they want you to relive those traumas constantly over and over and over again. And the reason why I say sand is because in the Bible, God tells the one lady, don't look back. Basically, she's looking back and what she's leaving, and because she left back, she was turned into like a stone of pillar or sand or whatever. So these people, they use the trauma, the trigger words, the names, they recreate situations and scenarios, and like basically set up things to provoke you to feel certain ways and certain feelings so that really they can mentally and physically like destroy you because they'll do so much mental attack to you that it literally starts to try to break you down physically if you're not strong enough or if you don't get away from those type of people after like a while because it just I think that that's just what it does to you. So the, these people do it because they are spiritually void of God and their concept of righteousness has literally been buried by them on purpose so that they can target you. So this is just something that I wrote briefly, really quickly on, something, a topic that I'm going to be talking more about. This is the name that I'm calling it because this is what I feel that it is. I feel like it's gang stalking retardation. Like it's literally like a disease. Like these people have no reason, no good reason to like target you. Like you didn't do anything to them. You didn't have to do anything to them. Like they'll literally just become this organization. It's like organized crime, an organized group of criminals that have decided to gang stalk you, which is a federal crime. And it makes you wonder like how far at the top are these people going? Like you have people that are like at the very top. So you're like, well, are there like owners involved in this? Like what's really going on? Like it's not making sense anymore. So I don't really, like I said, that part I'm not sure, but I know that people within the store, certain people who have decided to be those people who bury their righteousness. Um, there's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, and these people, I can't really imagine. So what I think is that it starts from somewhere and then it just like branches out. Like I think a lot of my it can start from like one situation or maybe you had an opinion about something and then they get this organization of people to like attack you. Like, let's give an example. For example, let's say that, oh, I'll give an example that's even further away from me because I don't want it to be so close to me. Okay, so like outside of my job, they have like a lot of protests. They have a lot of protests, and one of the protests were like Muslims or Middle Eastern women like wearing the hijab. I'm not really sure how to say it, but wearing the thing on their head. And so what they'll do is they'll like try to have you have an opinion about it. So they'll be like, oh yeah, like what's going on outside? There's like police and horses and all types of stuff going on. And then they'll tell you, and then like some of them are expecting you to have an opinion. But the best thing for you to do, which I've learned over time on certain situations, is not to have an opinion because people will use that opinion against you. Now you have to, pick your battles, but like that's one of the ones that I decided not to have an opinion on. God told me be still, be quiet, so that's what I did. I somehow, um, just because I think it's a little ironic because I don't see it a lot. I literally work in a retail store, and it happens to be like a lot of Middle Eastern people. And so, to my surprise, it happens to be like a lot of Middle Eastern people. So I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna say anything because I feel like, and we do have like one girl who wears the thing, and she like be eyeballing me sometimes, and so like, nah, I'm not gonna have an opinion. And then they use these opinions to have like organizations and people come target you just because you gave your opinion in like a protest that was going on outside of your job. So my opinion on that about Muslim women should wear the thing, on their head or not, is what they were fighting for. Is just that, it's not my culture. I don't come from there, and they those are people who lived a certain way in an area that you're supposed to be faithful to that, I'm guessing. So when you come over here, then things suddenly change. I understand how that could possibly cause an issue, but I don't think that it's my position because I'm not that culture to have a say on it and for it to be such a deep situation because it ties into like religion and sacredness type thing. It's not my opinion to fight that battle. I feel that some people need to fight the battles within their own culture. Like if that's your culture, you come from that culture and you're one of those females, then I think that you should talk to the men that are dealing with that because now the men are going to be targeting possibly me and possibly Americans. And we really don't have anything to do with that. So people pulling you into battles that aren't really your battle that could affect your life, in a crazy way you wouldn't believe. You just have to learn to say, that's not my battle. Those people are one culture, whatever they do, they should be able to relate to each other in a way unlike me, who is apart and separate from that type of religion and culture. If I have a problem with like my family and who I'm with and like who I'm married with or something, I need to really be talking to that person instead of trying to get somebody from somewhere else involved. You really have to start at the home base. So I choose not to like, when I was younger, maybe like a couple years ago, I would literally like just blurt out something like, "Oh, well, I think this and I think that," and like, yeah, why this and why that? Like, what's But now I've learned from being like attacked and gang stalked by certain people, cultures, and I believe religions that it's best for me, for my own safety, to not engage in those type of things. And also, you have to realize that some people will have you fight a battle for them, but they're not people. I'm not talking about them, I'm just talking about universally. Like, but they might not even be people that are for you. Like, it might be people who want you to fight their fight, but as soon as they win their fight, you are no longer their concern. Y'all aren't like confidants and like people that they're gonna, it's just like, oh yeah, you helped me fight that fight, okay, whatever. Like, bye. Like, they might not help me fight the fights that I need to fight. They might even be in competition with me when it comes to certain things. So I'm not going to get that help. So it's like, that's more of a darker way of seeing it, but there's always the light in the dark of seeing things. So you have to realize that as well, that sometimes you can fight for people, it can get you into a bunch of stuff, and those people will not fight for you. So you have to be very cautious of what you're choosing to fight, because that type of thing can get you gang stalked, and especially when you're talking about like radical and sacred type things. You have to be very careful with dealing with different cultures and different type of people. You might have people chasing after you for the rest of your life because you had an opinion when you were like 18 years old, or when you were like, 20 years old or so, and you were just saying something. And then now these people have found a way to trigger you. They're invading your whole life, hacking your phone, hacking your computer, trying to find out everybody you talk to and everybody you deal with. Like, you have to look at Malcolm X. Malcolm X was just a dude who was literally on a mission to find spirituality, and in going to that mission, he got himself involved with different cultures, and because he was informed on certain information that not everybody from that culture wanted him to know, that possibly could be the reason why he got assassinated or killed. So you just have to be really careful of what you're getting into. So I just wanted to talk about that gang stalk or hateration. Some of it you can, I wouldn't say that you bring it upon yourself, because people have a choice whether to hate you and to keep something going or not. But you have to realize that there are some people that you could apologize, or you could say, I should not have done that. And they don't go back. They don't say, okay, well, I forgive you for that, and we're gonna move forward. Let bygones be bygones. Some people, they will stick with it to the end because they have nothing else to do, because they want to hold grudges, because that's a part of their radicalness and what they believe they're supposed to do. So you have to be really, really careful about dealing with, like I said, certain people, cultures, and religions and things like that. And I think that people need to train their children to do that as well, because, like I said, I believe that that's one reason that people target people. Like, Malcolm X wasn't doing anything like wrong. He was trying to tell the truth. Um, what's that other dude's name? Martin Luther King. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He just believed in this utopia peace. There's not anything like literally harmful about that necessarily. There can be some issues because there are always cultural differences, but in his heart, it wasn't to like harm people. And he basically, still ended up getting shot for what he believed was peaceful. So you just have to, and that literally got him gang stalked. Malcolm X was gang stalked. Martin Luther King was gang stalked. All these people who, made a big difference in the world were people who ended up being gang stalked. And people, Princess Diane, I think she was gang stalked too. I don't understand why somebody would just, go and shoot her. But like, these are good people at heart that are being followed by people to like be mauled and like basically have them killed. So your intentions can be right, your intentions can be pure, but you know, your mind frame when it comes to considering other people may not be mature as you think, because you haven't thought of like all the ways that it can affect this person and that person. And then in another sense, it can be extremely mature, and you know exactly what you're getting into, and you're willing to fight that fight. But some people aren't really, they don't know what they're really getting into. They're not really, you know, into all that. So basically, that's all I wanted to talk about is the gang stalking, hateration, and I just dabbled in a couple of other things. So, you know, to try to keep yourself away from some of the gang stalk or hateration that could possibly be out there. But the gang stalk and hateration is just definitely a disease that people have. You know, the very beginning of the video, I pretty much laid out a definition in my mind of what it is. So if you agree, then give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys later.